Whose shoes are these? I'm just gonna choose the obvious choice on this one. Who are you and what are you doing in my home?
地獄行くのお前が先だ。本当に訳あるですね。お前が殺したいよ。ぶっ飛ばす。
Hold on. Hold that thought. I'm apparently gonna need to,
何これ
There we go. There we go.
I need your help. Capcom has dishonored itself for so long and disappointed us with either bad titles or bad company choices that have hurt its top titles.
So what can we do? The people running the company have lost their fucking minds. They're ignoring their fan base while making horrible games.
We show them.
Show them what? And who?
To everyone, anyone. We show them how great their games used to be and how to pull themselves out of this hole. We can make them into something better than what they were.
So we have to play one of their games, huh? So which one? Mega Man? Resident Evil? Monster Hunter?
No. We will show them something that we have almost all forgotten.
Onimusha is considered one of the greatest series in the PS2 library, full of art, culture, and history, all in an action horror atmosphere. To this day, it continues to impress and entertain. Somehow, it seems to have fallen to the darker recess of our past, and it begs to be retold.
So will you join me?
I will join you on your holy crusade. So what the hell is an Onimusha? An Onimusha is a warrior blessed with the powers of the Oni clan. The Oni are Japanese ogre spirits that were often depicted causing mischief, disaster, or disease. They are a folklore told as bedtime stories to children to scare them, but there are others who believe they were some sort of divine beings that protected the land. We begin with an opening at the Battle of Okayazama. And yes, this is based on an actual battle in history. In fact, this game is loosely based off of Japanese history, and I mean very loosely.
Yeah, you know, demons and shit.
We are introduced to our main antagonist, Oda Nobunaga. If you do not know who he is, Oda Nobunaga is a historical figurehead of Japan during the era of warring states. He led a big campaign unifying Japan under one rule.
He's basically our Abraham Lincoln of our nation, but with a katana. He has been depicted in many movies, games, and books as a bloodthirsty tyrant or a man with a great vision to mend together a fractured land. The game is leaning more towards its demon overlord.
Wow! Imagine being the one who made that historical shot.
Holy shit, guys! Did you see that? I got him!
But afterwards, we see him leading an army perfectly fine for some reason. But forget that for now. We are then introduced to our main protagonist of the game, Hidemitsu Samanosuke Akechi.
Bless you.
Thank you. He is based off a historical figure, Akechi Hidemitsu. Samanosuke is also modeled and voiced by Takeshi Kinashiro. Look familiar? He has been in some amazing movies such as Red Cliff. Sure, video games nowadays often use actors and use their likeness in games, but this was during the first year of the PS2, and this method was very innovative. Even with the graphics of the PS2 in its infancy, they managed to capture his likeness very well.
They have to set a standard that most video games follow today. Something that Capcom needs to start doing again is to create innovative styles of gaming.
So our main protagonist is watching over the battle, for some reason, and fights off several samurai that find him. A year after the battle, he rushes to
Inabayama.
Inabayama Castle after getting a letter from his cousin Princess Yuki of the Saito clan stating that people have been disappearing and wants him to come back. But after rushing past these useless-ass guards, he finds that he is too late and she had disappeared. Kidnapped by agents of Splinter Cell, apparently. Off to a good start there, buddy. So this is where the gameplay kicks in. You are told by a guard there are two paths you take. Samanosuke tells... Wait, who the hell is this ninja chick? Seriously, they never explain this. She just shows up.
Well, it's a rule in Japan that all full-fledged samurai are given automatically a hot ninja sidekick. It's the law.
That makes sense. You go down the path for like literally 5 seconds and you run into the Splinter Cells that have the princess. Here you give a good taste of how the gameplay feels. Just like Resident Evil, it takes time getting used to it. But after some time, you start getting used to moving, attacking, and blocking. It's a great fighting mechanic that works very well and gives the game great replay value. After whacking them a few times, they flee like little bitches and you rescue the princess. And that was Onimusha. Nah, I'm just fucking with you.
Princess Yuki, Your Highness.
Samanosuke, it's really you.
Oh,
Amazing.
God!
それはなんだ
Holy
よ
abomination.
神様
Holy
あーいやいやいあーmy ear vaginas
I have missed you so much since you left the castle.
My ancestors weep at this abomination. The Japanese voice acting is great, especially Samanosuke being voiced by Takeshi. He's a great actor.
So after the princess and Samanosuke exchange a few words for a moment, a big-ass demon with huge tusks knocks Samanosuke out and takes the princess.
You are a failure.
He wakes up and is greeted by a vision of the Oni. They are pissed that they were wiped out by the Genma, who are their nemesis. That is the name of the demons in this game, by the way. They inform you that you are unable to destroy a single Genma, so they bestow on you the means to kill them.
With one sweet ass gauntlet. Seriously, that thing is 超かっこいい. I want one.
Me too, man.
So,
After receiving the
Yes,
Oni
Mom,
gauntlet,
Mom,
he vows to
understand.
kill the Genma and save the
the power
princess.
of this gauntlet, I will destroy all of those monsters and save the princess.
Yeah, what he said. A cool fact about the gauntlet is that its design is based on the locust. The fucking thing blinks too. Ooh. With this, you can kill the Genma and absorb their souls.
Wait, why does that sound familiar?
So now he continues down the path and runs into a few Genma, helps a few of the assholes out.
Monsters! Close the door now!
Someone is there.
Get him!
Well, fuck you too!
Open the door! I've killed all the monsters. He killed?
Huh?
What should we do?
After you impress the man by dispatching the Genma, you reach a cave and find a big hole the walrus demon made. You get a choice to go down or not. But at that point, there is nothing at all you could have missed, or any reason to go back, so down we go. After you go down, you come across a secret entrance to the castle, sealed up by a mummified monk with a scroll.
These are living Buddha that are created by the act of sokushinbutsu. It's when Buddhist monks sit in place of altars and never move. They don't eat, drink, or do anything. They literally meditate to death. It was only practiced in Yamagata between 11th and 19th century. Only a few have ever attempted this, and even less were successful. They got hungry.
I basically practice that every time I binge watch Netflix. After entering, you find a book with weird language and translation. I love this part of the game. There are these books that are spread out throughout the game. Each one has 4 volumes to complete the set, and you use them to unlock chests to get upgrades and special items. There are different types of puzzle chests that lay throughout the game. I find these chests very satisfying. Shortly after, you get to a room with a blue glowing ball. This is when you obtain the Thunder Orb, Shiden. With it, you get the Rizon, a lightning blade.
Dai is basically Japanese slang. It means lightning or electricity.
Its abilities are speed-based, so you swing faster and move quicker. It also uses lightning magic to cause electric damage. At this point, you can start using the souls you've been absorbing to start leveling it up to cause more damage and make them look cooler.
Wait. Absorb souls? Use them to upgrade equipment. It's just like another well-known PS2 game.
Holy shit, yeah, you're right! Onimusha does not get the credit it deserves.
Demo. It gets the respect from us that it needs.
Thank you very much, Batman. So as we move on, you also pick up the first of many journals of Saimyo, an apprentice to Master Sogen, the monk you found earlier. You find these along the way through the game. His story is actually very interesting. He writes that he will be documenting the events of him and his master. You continue to the castle. You also see one of those translation chests.
Holy shit! What is that? The door! Does the door have cancer?
These tumors you see growing on the doors block your path. You have to have the proper orbs to pass through it. You cross a bridge and you can see the castle, but a red tumor is blocking the door. You'll need to find a red orb to unlock it. So you head to the left and find some guys fighting the Genma.
Very poorly if you ask me.
If you save the men you come across in the game, they will drop gifts for you such as herbs and medicine to heal you.
Borrowing from Resident Evil, I see.
You find the door to the next area locked, and all you see is a big trail leading down a steep hillside. The rope ladder you get from the first puzzle box lets you get down. When you proceed forward, you run into Mr. Ugly McFucklestein again and makes a line about eating you.
Humans are more tasty when angry, and I haven't eaten in a while. How could I die? By the hand of a human!
Be quiet, monster. It is time for you to go back to the underworld.
After wasting his ass, you find journal number 2 of Saimyo, telling you that he was a coward and left his master behind to perform the final ritual to tie and seal the cave. That was the monk you saw earlier. He took the jewels and documents his master handed you and placed them nearby. It was the Thunder Orb you picked up. So you move on to find...
何それ?
Sweet, beautiful hair. The dripping blood. What's this? Oh, a liver.
This creepy ass fuck is a Genma scientist named Guildenstern, named after a character in Hamlet. He claimed to have been the one who resurrected Nobunaga.
He then made a pact with the demons and pledged his eternal loyalty to serve us forever as our slave.
No!
Why did he tell him that? There's really no reason to say it. He really has a god complex.
He then tells his latest creation, Ronaldo, to kill Samanosuke. I like how Guildenstern uses more European-based names from cultural icons to name his abominations.
I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
If you're not careful, you can slice him in half and fight more than one. After killing them off quickly, you pick up a red orb, Koen this time. The Koen orb gives you Enryu, the Dragon Flame Sword. This thing is focused on doing damage and using fire magic, of course. So now you can leave and use the fire orb to gain access to the castle. But first you run into this guy. Holy crap. So now you reach the castle and enter. You are then introduced to the castle in an amazing rendered cutscene.
That's another thing I love about this game. The background is pre-rendered, giving high detail shots of the hellish environment, capturing the horror of the game.
After seeing a horror cutscene of the castle, you can come across a room with a saving mirror and this fucking thing. Let's put a pin in this one for later. So now you go through the main doors and find a man funneling a little boy. After you confront the man, the boy escapes and he reveals to be a servant of Nobunaga and gives you his name, Tokichiro Kinoshita. And Samanosuke tells you that he will later become Hideyoshi Toyotomi and rules the world. In history, he took over Nobunaga's campaign when he passed away and united Japan.
I sense a foreshadowing in the Force.
He tries to recruit you, but you tell him to piss off. He leaves telling you he won't give up on retaining you. You come across journal number 3 of Samyo. This one about him being in the caves of demons and starving. He states that he's seen the demons eating humans alive and that he is tempted to eat some scraps of human flesh and is afraid of the cravings. You push on and find Kaede chasing the boy you freed earlier and he doesn't trust you enough. But he at least tells you his name is Yumamaro and rushes off. You tell Kaede to find him and you split up and you proceed onwards. You find another puzzle box with a bow in it. Very useful for hard to reach enemies that cannot be reached by sword length. You reach a room and Kaede catches up to you and tells you that Yumamaro is the son of a farmer that was killed 4 years prior, and that he was adopted by Yuki when she found him. But somehow they set off a trap and you have to solve your way out of it. As you solve your way out of it, you also pick up holy armor that gives you better protection. When you reach near the end of the puzzle, Samanosuke and Kaede get split up by a barrier, and the room Samanosuke is stuck in begins to fill with water.
Samanosuke! What happened? Are you alright?
I seem to be trapped.
Is there a way you can get out of there?
You play as Kaede for a brief moment to stop the trap. You have to solve the puzzle under the time limit or Samanosuke will drown. It gets very intense and nerve-wracking as you try to beat the clock. After you free Samanosuke, you pull a switch, putting an end to the trap, and the stairs come down.
And by the way, Inabayama Castle is a real place and still exists today. Demo, Capcom, when they were designing it for the game, didn't even come close to the way it looks like in real life.
Maybe the real castle didn't have any of these trap designs, and Capcom wanted to spice things up a bit.
It makes sense. Demo, why would anyone design traps you can solve your way out of?
So then you proceed upstairs, but have to go down a ladder because the door is locked and you need a round key to unlock it. You find a secret passage in the war room you came across earlier. There you find a red book, The Notes of Guildenstern. He states that he has to start writing down stuff because he is too busy making monsters to remember names of his work. You pick up a piece of the key for the door and you go back, and then you go down to find another piece as well. You find the next journal of Samuel, number 4. This one gets even darker as he documents how a baby demon is born through a bottle of fluids, and he tries to stop his hand from shaking so he can write and draw the truth. You unlock the door and you find Yumamaro being kidnapped by a Splinter Cell agent. Samanosuke runs after, only to be blocked by Tokichiro, trying to talk you into serving Nobunaga again. But you argue, and he says that all humans will be food for the demons. He tells you that is the natural order of things, that humans should serve the demons. He even tells Samanosuke about a ceremony to sacrifice the princess and drink blood from her skull by Nobunaga, and that the Saito clan would lose against the Oda clan.
The Oda clan with the Saito clan will be guaranteed. Ah! See you again, Samanosuke.
You forgot to tell the audience who the Saito are.
Oh, yes! I'm sorry. The game barely tells you about it, and I forgot as well. The castle we are in belongs to the Saito clan. They're in war against the Oda clan, and are so far losing as we can tell. The history book states that Nobunaga takes over the land and the Saito clan disappears into the history. I didn't want to tell you this earlier, thinking it might spoil the game, but I don't think we are following history too closely, so I think we're fine now.
Wait. Japanese history books say Saito Dosan is Nobunaga's father-in-law.
So?
And Samanosuke is Yuki's cousin, who's a member of the Saito clan.
Wait, hold on.
Samanosuke is distantly related to Nobunaga.
How did I miss that?
This is one head of a Japanese soap opera.
So you go on, you get struck by a hidden enemy behind the paper wall and go up. You are now at the top of the castle.
その未来は本当にすごいですよ。
You hear Yumamaru calling for help, but the door is locked by a green tumor this time, meaning a new weapon is coming up!
I think the doors are getting more sick.
So you go into the main doors to find a room with more decoder books and a soul ATM. You go up the path behind the wall and come to the roof. You then see a big ogre-like being with the... Holy crap, he's got the green orb! Holy crap, he can use it? I thought the Gamma can't use the Oni magic.
Actually, this one is a special, but we will find out about that later.
Shh. This one's a little tough, but after beating him, you get the wind orb, Arashi.
This gives you the dual blade Naginata Ship.
Say that again?
Ship.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Why are you laughing?
Well, never mind.
Yeah, Naginata Ship. Cross.
So you go and find Yumamaru passed out in the room you couldn't get in without the Arashi orb. And it cuts to the stage room with Samanosuke, Kaede, and Yumamaru as he wakes up and begs for you to save his sister. Samanosuke promises to the boy and explains to Kaede why the princess adopted the boy. He tells her that Yuki was groomed to be in an arranged marriage and had no freedom, so she helps anyone in need of help that she meets.
She wants to help them.
He then talks about the world.
Let me tell you about the ways of the world, Yumamaru.
I need an adult.
I am an adult.
In this world, only the strong survive.
Samanosuke.
Oh, Kami-sama! The voice acting is getting worse.
Samanosuke tells him that his uncle talked him into traveling the world 4 years ago to learn new things. He starts preaching that the world is large and vast compared to their little islands. Then a maid of the princess runs in and tells Samanosuke that the princess is underground and passes out. Samanosuke tells Kaede to watch over the other two and runs off.
Something tells me that this is going to bite him in the ass.
You head to a room that has 3 orb pedestals blocking a path. But because you have all 3 orbs, you are able to pass through. You also find a book from Guildenstern about Nobunaga. He states that he was able to revive him through demon blood transfusion, also stating that usually no human can withstand such a procedure, and even was impressed by the man's intelligence and cold nature. You go down a very disturbing part of the castle.
How did no one ever notice this stuff in the castle?
You find a doorway guarded by ghosts, like a scene from A Nightmare on Elm Street. There are fleshy bits all over the wall as if it was mold growing over the surface, like in Dead Space. You move onward to the next area, dealing with more hentai monsters, and find more of Guildenstern's books. The green one tells of the dark ceremony between the demons and the humans. It is the holiest and darkest ritual of theirs, where the chosen sacrificed is killed and her blood poured into her skull. The Demon King blesses it, and the person who drinks it gains incredibly dark magic. Guildenstern wants to find out what makes the blood special and that he can evolve demon kind if he knew. The orange book explains why Princess Yuki was chosen as the sacrifice. They need one born on the land with a pure heart and a perfect body. By sacrificing her, the land will be flooded with evil. You continue on to find the purifying bell. You also find a room nearby that has a map and a necklace that lets you speak to the deceased.
Seriously, where does he keep all of this stuff?
You head back and use it to clear the doorway of ghosts blocking you. You go in and find a bunch of jars like some sort of demon lab and you fight through. You find a torture room complete with an Iron Maiden and some other neat stuff, like the book number 1 of the Apocalypse. It explains most of what we know about the Dark Samurai already. Also another puzzle box to solve and obtain the blue key, so you head back. The room nearby has the white book. It has Guildenstern's ranking of the demons. Low class, not able to speak, and are very dumb. Middle class are larger and more stronger. They mumble a little and hardly follow orders that well. High class are very intelligent and are the most powerful demons that run the Genma world. Basically, they are the 1% of the demon realm. So you move on and find a strange room where Tokichiro is waiting for you. After asking one last time to join, he traps you and tells you that Kaede and the boy should be captured by now. It cuts to a scene of a fake Samanosuke comes in and knocks her out, and the maid was actually working for the demons.
Got it.
You wake up as Kaede and you find Yumamaro is gone, and so you play as her. As soon as you leave the room, you find a samurai telling you to go to the prison and gives you a key. So as you venture forth, you fight off demons. She may not be as strong as Samanosuke, but she is fast and nimble as hell.
How is she doing that without the Oni gauntlet? Capcom, you dishonor us.
You go into the prison wing, and after exploring a bit, you come across journal number 5 of Samuel. He tells you of a gate to the demon realm that he cannot open and the colors he cannot paint. You reach a blacksmith's work area that works on weapons and armor and just about anything else. After finding the gold and silver plate and placing them into the gate to unlock, you gain entrance to the prison, only to find that it's on fucking fire. You find a puzzle box containing the sacred dagger that does a lot of damage to the Genma, and I find it very useful. You reach the underground cell and find the princess and try to help lockpick the door.
Which is pointless, because the bars are so wide, she could just squeeze through and escape.
The princess says she is envious of Kaede because she is free to travel with Samanosuke. But Guildenstern comes and snatches the princess and leaving Kaede to fight an invisible demon. After slaying the demon, Kaede rushes off to tell Samanosuke the bad news. You cut to Samanosuke somewhere in a cave and come across evil Samanosuke. After that annoying battle, you go and find the evil plate to the door you ran by earlier in the game, and a ladder you use to set up to get out of the well. I like this part. If you accidentally cut the bucket before you grab the jewel, it will be sitting here waiting for you instead of getting it at the beginning of the game. You explore a bit of the west wing now that it is open. You find a decorative sword and a little statue's head where you place it to open up the block path to get to the matchlock rifle. These were first introduced into this era and slowly replaced the sword, leaving the samurai class to slowly fade away.
We all know this story 100 times over. You don't need to go over it again.
But
no.
You also notice a big statue. These are deities that watch over the land. They look like Oni ogres, so it might implicate that they worship the Oni here as protective spirits rather than evil ones. So you return to the castle and find a little strange hanging man.
He looks like a giant Brussels sprout.
Hey, do not be afraid.
He finally talks to you and tells you about the Dark Realm, and that a great powerful treasure awaits at the bottom and that it is very dangerous. If you go in, you fight through hordes of Genma, and when you reach the bottom, you get an ocarina. Yes, kinda like that one. But great power my ass, you can't use it now. But hey, you pretty much can level up the rest of your stuff with all the souls you obtain fighting all those Genma. If you level up your gear, you can see that your gauntlet grows and changes 2 times, looking cooler each time, and you're even more powerful to take on the bosses. So you go to the room with the evil plate and go in. You find the maid holding the boy and she begins to... Wait, what the hell?
I have the most awkward boner right now.
After she changes, she summons forth the demon door in which Sanyo mentions in one of his journals, destroying half the castle. The door then shuts and a magical disc comes up and puts a barrier that they can't pass. So you leave and find giant ants open up a path for you to go through.
It's like a scene from Starship Troopers.
You use the decorative sword to unlock the path to move on. You come across Sanyo's 6th and final journal.
I'm going to miss that guy.
He dictates that his bleeding will not stop, and if someone was able to get this far, he had drawn out a way to break the barrier to the demon realm and go through the door. It shows you a ceremonial bow and arrow that you must get in order to break the seal. You find a talisman. In a lot of cultures, they practice using these to help ward off injury and illness, even help prevent death and gives good fortune. You move on to find another puzzle box and get the strongest armor, the Great Armor. Made by the power of the ogres, aka the Oni, it can withstand Gemma attacks. You find a boat and get over to a room with a bow you saw in the last journal, but get surrounded by ants. You can take them on as you... or not. We cut to Kaede taking over the game as she begins searching the East Wing. She finds the Apocalypse number 2, this one giving you more info that you didn't know. This one states that the Demon King was born when the Earth was created. He was the one who gave birth to every demon. He only shows himself in snake-like body when performing a dark ceremony, and that no one knows what he does in his spare time.
Sure they don't.
You find another puzzle box and get a decorative arrow you use to replace the ceremonial arrow. Getting all Indiana Jones up in there, in which unlocks the chest to get the green key, which gives you access to the boat to reach Samanosuke. Kaede sees some explosives and we cut to Samanosuke and the monsters.
What? Samanosuke! A monster's coming! Watch out!
Oh, thanks, bitch.
The Insect Queen tells Samanosuke that Yumomaru will be killed in front of the princess to bring her grief to its peak, and her blood would taste even more potent to give Nobunaga more power.
Delicious and strongest. Granting our Lord Nobunaga more power.
After shooting her down, Kaede sets off the gunpowder and tells Samanosuke to get out of there. Miss Wasp Lady then pops up and starts chasing you, only to get pinned down by flaming debris. And both Samanosuke and Kaede and Michael bay their way out of the building. They wake up ashore, and Samanosuke takes Kaede to the same room as before and declares to end this nightmare once and for all.
Great. It is in the same room again. That worked out perfectly the before. Let's do it again.
Samanosuke, using the great bow and arrow to shoot the disc and break the barrier, he opens the door and goes into the demon room. He comes into a room with Guildenstern, and he unleashes his greatest creation. Marcellus, the guy we faced here, has been more empowered. He used to be an Oni warrior that fought alongside Sogen. His name is Murokoto. He was a powerful Oni that the Genma feared. Even the Demon King was annoyed by him. However, Guildenstern tricked and captured Murokoto, changing him through experiments in fighting for the Genma. After defeating him, you move on to find a room with a door to the side. This is where the Bishamon Ocarina comes in handy to open it. When you go in, you find a giant skeleton with a sword lodged in its chest. The sword comes out and you obtain the Bishamon sword, literally translating to God of War.
Here he is.
This sword has all 3 orbs in the hilt and is claimed to be the first and one of the most powerful weapons made by the Oni. It can kill almost any enemy in one strike. It may not have a magical gauge, but it does use a powerful attack that is still more devastating.
With these, you are unstoppable.
The little fucker was right. That is a great powerful treasure. In fact,
What?
something just occurred to me.
And that is?
Well, you go through the game collecting 3 items.
Uh-huh.
3 items that are red, blue, and green, and that you get an ocarina after that,
And?
which you use to open a door to get to a room that holds a blade that can kill evil.
Holy shit.
We've been playing Legend of Zelda the entire time!
How did I not see that?
So you're going down with your badass master sword, your shaman sword, just laying waste to anything unfortunate enough to be in your way and reach the bottom. You find Princess Yuki and Yumamaru ready to be sacrificed, and you hear the demon lord. What's up with Capcom using the ancient Japanese? So now we get to see the great and powerful Demon King Fortinbras, welcoming Samanosuke to the ceremony, and invited Nobunaga to come down and drink Yuki's blood.
I take it back. That is the worst lip sync I have ever seen. Please, please change it to Japanese, please.
Oh, it's almost over,
Please.
just hold on! So if you don't have the Bishamon sword, this fight will be very difficult, but since we have it, we finish him off very smoothly. So after defeating him, Kaede shows up.
Kaede, let's get out of here.
She is about as useful as my chopsticks in picking up rice off the floor.
Samanosuke cuts the princess down and sets the boy free, and the place starts falling apart for no apparent reason.
It's Capcom. The villain's lair always destroys itself when the villain is killed. It's common sense.
So they start fleeing, and for some reason, Samanosuke stops and Fortinbras grabs him. He tells the others to run away without him, and he is squeezed to death. But his blood spills on the Oni gauntlet in transforming him into a Oni, and just cuts through him with ease.
He stabs him so hard his eyes pop out.
Afterwards, Samanosuke wakes up to see a reflective silhouette on one of the eyeballs. Ew. And finds that Nobunaga had arrived.
About damn time.
The camera fades as Samanosuke and Nobunaga stare at each other as the place begins to collapse. We find out that the demon's plans were halted due to Samanosuke and his friends. But Yoshitatsu Saito died a year later and his idiot son took over. Nobunaga came and took over in Abayama Castle and the Saito clan was no more, as I told earlier. Yuki, no longer a princess, moved in with a family friend, Sokyu Imai, for a month and then went to travel the world. Yumamaru followed her after taking Samanosuke's advice. Kaede searched for Samanosuke but never found him. After working for his uncle Mitsuhide Akechi as an agent for 14 years until she died in the battlefield.
Such a waste of such a hot kunoichi.
We were told no one knew what happened to Samanosuke, but after the credits, we see him walking towards the camera, so we can assume a sequel is underway when it comes out. And so, that was Onimusha Warlords. Yes, it was a lot like Resident Evil, but it took it and made it its own and evolved into a great game.
With games like these, they make us fall in love with them and then break our hearts. When Capcom, the game creator, starts making terrible decisions and they throw themselves into a hole. It's like watching a very good friend dig themselves into a hole deeper and deeper, go down a dark path. And you can't do anything about it. You just hope that they won't destroy the last bit of dignity they have left. And you hope that they also realize that the choices they make don't just hurt themselves, but also the people that love them. We can only pray that they will start to make better choices, make better games, bring themselves to new heights, and begin to inspire us once again. Are you crying?
No?